Hey parents and students. So over the past couple days, we've been talking in class about expanded form. That's when we take a number and we expand it so that you see the value of every digit in a number. The first way we've talked about so far is the OG, or the standard. I call it OG like the original. That's probably the one they're most comfortable with. But again, if you remember back to my digit value video, that's why we spent so much time on that, because it's going to come in handy over here. Then today we talked about distributive expanded form, and tomorrow will be word. So just going over real quick, the OG, or the standard way, is when we take a number. For instance, let's do 4,639. Now this is not up to fourth grade standard. I'll do one in just a moment where we are up to fourth grade standards. So we have this number, and the OG way is we look at the first digit and we say, okay, we got a 4 in the ones, tens, hundreds, thousands place. How many? 4,000. So we have 4,000 plus, and we go over to the next digit, 6. Well, it's in the hundreds, so that is 600 plus, next digit over is the 3 in the tens place. So it's not 3, it is 30. And finally the 9, which is in the ones place, so it is what it is, plus 9. So there's the OG, original or standard method for expanded form. And you really see that digit value really matters here. So if students are having difficulty with this, I urge you to revisit digit value only. Next is the distributive method. Now I'm going to take the same number, 4,639. Now in the distributive, we break it down by place value. So we look, okay, the first value, this is the ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. So we're going to write out 1,000. And then you ask, how many thousands are there? 4. So we're going to multiply 1,000 times 4. Group it together with the parentheses. Plus, next one over, we have ones, tens, hundreds. So 100. How many hundreds are there? Right, there's 6. So times 6. Next over, we have the 3. What place value is it in? Ones, tens. So plus 10. How many are there? 3 tens. So times 3. And finally, in the ones, we're in the ones place, so plus 1. How many are there? 9 times 9. So as you can see, a little different than the OG, or the standard method, where we're actually taking this number and we're putting it into distributive 1,000s. How many? 4. 4 times 1,000 is 4,000. Next one, 100, 6 times 100, 600, 3 times 10, 30, and 9 times 1, 9. So it's kind of, we took this version and we expanded it further. But it's, I wouldn't say it's harder, just a different way of looking at it. Finally, we have word. So we're going to use the same number, 4,639. Now word gets a teeny bit tricky in that we can rename numbers, which we'll be talking about more on Thursday probably. So, but if we look at this, now we're just going to use words. So kind of like over here, we have in the thousands, well, how many? 4. So we're going to write 4,000 plus, back over the hundreds, 600s. 6. Ooh, I'm going to have to squeeze this one. Hundreds. And I should have my plus. I'm going to squeeze it in. Plus, well, 3, and it's in the tens place. 3 tens. And finally, 9 ones. So just a different way to expand it. Essentially, this is very similar to over here, only this time we're expressing the place value in a word. Now, we can rename words. For instance, if I look at this, I can say 46. Well, the 6 lands in the hundreds place, and we know from the 10 times greater lesson that this place value, the thousands place value is 10 times greater than the 6. So 4 times 10, that would be 40 plus the 6. So 46 hundreds plus, and then we just go right over to our tens since we use these two. 3 tens plus, and we got 9 ones. Or just to give you another example, we could group this as, starting again, 4 thousands. 6 hundreds. Plus, but now instead of saying 3 tens and 9 ones, we could just clump these together. So this would be 10, 20, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 39, but now they're ones. So 39 ones. So now we're looking at these this expanded form in more of the 4th grade standard. Whereas before we were only going into the thousands place, now we're all the way into the ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. Students are expected to know up to 1 million for FSA. So looking at this in the standard format, we're going to start at our highest place value digit, which would be the 4 in this case. So 4 is in the 100,000s. So we're going to do 400, comma, 1,000 plus, we're going to go the next digit value over, 7, which is in the ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. So that's 70,000 plus next digit over, 6. So it's in the thousands place, so 6,000 plus next digit over is the 8. It's in the ones, tens, hundreds, so 800 plus next value is 0. Now, sometimes students like to put a 0 in just to show that they're going through all the place values. That is perfectly fine. They can either put nothing, they can put a 0 in its place, or I get a lot of students who like to put, for instance, this is in the tens, so they just put 0, 0. Really, it's fine. A 0 is a 0, even if it's nothing. So either way, whatever they feel most comfortable with. However, on a test, they will have to spot when a place value was skipped over and to put a 0 there. So just a little error caution. And finally, our last digit, 2. So plus just 2. It's in the ones. It is what it is. Going over to the distributive method, we have the 4 and the 100,000s place. So we're going to write 100,000. How many are there? 4. So times 4 plus next digit over, 7. And what place value is a 7 in? $10,000s. So 10,000 And how many are there? 7. So times 7. Plus, next one over, thousands. 1,000. How many are there? 6. And next over, hundreds. 100. How many are there? 8. So times 8. And it just keeps on going down. So moving over, plus there's that 0 again. So they can either put a 0 or they can just put nothing, whatever works for them. And this one I'll just skip it out completely so we can see the differences. So no 10s. And finally we're in the 1s. So 1, how many 1s? There's 2 times 2. So what I would urge students to do is look and say, okay, we have 100,000s, 10,000s, 1,000s, 100, and 1. Oh, something was skipped. So on their test, they'll have to make sure that they're going in order and checking to make sure there is something for each place value. If there's nothing, we're going to put a 0 in its place. Finally, word. So we can say this a few different ways. I'll give you just a couple of examples that could be on a test. So we have 400,000s, and we're going to just write it out. 400,000s plus 7 10,000s plus 6,000s plus 800s plus, and I'll cram it down here, 2 1s. Or we can look at this and we could say 476,000s. So we can kind of clump them together. Plus 800s plus, remember we have no 10s. Now if they feel more comfortable writing it out, they can write 0 10s. That's perfectly fine. Plus 2 1s. We could also clump this and say 400,000s, 400,000s, 76,000s, 800s, 2 1s. Or we could say 400,000s, 7 10,000s, 6,800s, 2 1s. So word form, they have to be able to find and think up different ways of renaming numbers. So if I had to say, word would probably be one of the most difficult because of those renaming numbers factors. Tonight for homework, as you're getting this, students can choose between standard or distributive. I told them it's their choice. However, tomorrow they'll be switching between the 3. Have a good night. Thanks for watching.